guys, so I haven't done a video in a long time, but this video will be about the Yellow Hive composition for BSG. So the patch that I'm going to be making this hive off of is patch 1.4.3, and this is the hive composition I'm going to be teaching you in this video. So this hive composition for the Yellow Hive, and it's right now I would say the most optimal one, but you can of course change it up and stuff. I will tell you some bees that you could put in this hive and switch for some of the bees as well. But yeah, let's start. So first off, this hive has these main bees. These are the priority, these main bees right here. All of these priority, all of these. So let's go from bottom to the top here. So first off, bee shifter. Why is bee shifter be good for Yellow Hive? So basically, if it's a high level, it can turn into a delta bee or a drone bee, and both are just good. So, okay, so it's good to have bee shifter bee, because also every single stat of the when bee shifter bee transforms basically just becomes very, like, it goes up by a lot basically. And especially turn into a drone bee, because then it will collect a lot of pollen. Next up, one of the most important bees, if not the most important for a Yellow Hive, is Party Bee. Why is Party Bee good? Because of the fireworks ability. It just gives a bunch of buffs that is good for Yellow Hives, and it's good for you to level this bee up a lot. Make it the highest level bee in your hive and make it glorified. It needs to be glorified, okay? That's a minimum. And Solar Bee. Why is Solar Bee good? First off, because of the Holy Flower mechanic, which gives you 50% yellow pollen and 10% instant conversion on that flower. So if it's yellow flower, then you're gonna get 50% more yellow pollen from the flower. And you need to also prioritize levels on this one, just like Party Bee, because then your Holy Flower will last for longer, and it's just gonna be good because you also have more chances to get Holy Flowers from Solar Bee. So that's why you also need to glorify Solar Bee as fast as possible. It's the second bee you should glorify in your hive. Next up is Bunny Bee. So why is Bunny Bee good? You might be asking, because it's a white bee. So first off, it's the bunny hop ability, which is bee move speed, which is it's just good for every hive to have bee move speed. And then second, because the Easter blessing, this is just good. It's just good because it just gives a ton of buffs, which are just good in general. And also, like, you don't really need to glorify Bunny Bee. So next up is Volnic Bee. So you want to say, why would you need Volnic Bee? It's a red bee. Well, just because of one thing, it's the hit meteor buff that you get from the meteor shower ability. So this buff gives you critical value, which is always good for any hive color. And really, everything else is just a bonus, like the flame gather and stuff like that. It's just a bonus. So yeah. You should also prioritize levels on Volnic Bee as well, because then you'll get more pollen. Next up is Drone Bee. So why is Drone Bee good? It's not good to have in your hive exactly. It's good for you to make an alt for Drone Bee, like a Drone Bee alt. But if you don't have that luxury, then you can just get 1 to 3 Drone Bees in your hive. Is good. For this hive I'm running 3, but you can just run 1 and be fine, no problem. But just note that it will be harder for you to stay in the tactical flights, which basically when this ability activates, like Drone Bee will fly in a circle, and you have to stay in the circle to get these buffs. These buffs are really important. They will help you a lot in the boost. So yeah, you really need this. But if you're on an alt, of course, like the alt is gonna do this for you. So yeah. This is why it's good to have a Drone Bee alt, because then you can just get the buffs for this. Next up is Delta Bee. You might ask, why Delta Bee? It's a white bee. Like, it's basically the same thing as Bunny Bee. It's just good in general for every single hive color. Because first of all, it gives you back the honey, like honey, depending on how much pollen you collect in a short time period. So I'm not gonna explain everything, but basically make it have a high level, and when its passive activates, which it will signal to you by coming to you, you have to get as many buffs as possible, but I will explain that later on. But just to know, something just to know is glorify it, get convert rate cosmetics on it and have it as high level as possible. And Beanies Bee as well. Beanies Bee. Why would you want Beanies Bee? Because of the upgraded pollen bomb. So why not upgrade the yellow bomb? You might be saying, because only Solar Bee has upgraded the yellow bomb, which is actually a bad thing. But we'll get to that later. So why Beanies Bee? Because when you collect a bomb, you gotta get this buff called the bomb prowess buff. So this buff, it stacks like, depending on how many bombs you collect for that specific bomb color, and it does not stack for any other color of bomb. It only stacks for one. So that's why you do not want to have multiple colored bombs in your hive. You only want one colored bomb. Otherwise, you will basically not get as much pollen, because bombs are crucial. The most crucial thing in your hive is bombs. So you need to really focus on this and only have one colored bomb. And I'd suggest for every single hive, not just yellow, for now, to just have upgraded pollen bomb, because you just get a bomb that is going to collect in every single other field. And so until more bees that have their specific upgraded color variants, they just run upgraded bomb on every single hive. But blue can kind of get away with this, because supercharged bee, for blue you're just going to run supercharged bee, which has upgraded blue bomb. So yeah, if you're blue, then that's an exception. So yeah. So now we're gonna get to the epics. So 3 scared bees. So this is the optional bee. So if you want to be fast, okay, use scared bee. But if you don't really care about it, then you can swap out these scared bees for Venus bees, which will be just better. But it just depends on what you want. If you want Swift, or if you think scared bee is better because you're gonna get more pollen with the Swift or whatever, blah blah blah, then you can run scared bees. But it's up to you, and also on your playstyle. Do you run a lot in the field? If you run a lot in the field, and especially if you don't have fellow bee, then you should run scared bee. Now we're gonna go to fellow bees. So why I'm not running any fellow bees in this hive? First off, because it's really optional. Like, if you're not running scared bees, then I would suggest running at least 1 or 2 fellow bees, because then you will be able to collect every single token in the field. But if you're not, like, if you're running 3 scared bees, then fellow bee is really not needed at the moment, because fields are not really that large and you can usually get every single token that spawns. But if you're having problems with that, then of course put at least 1 fellow bee in your hive and it will be good. But next up is thinker bees. Why would you have thinker bees? It's a rare bee. Well, it gives 3% critical chance to the only bee to do so, so it's essential to your hive. You need it in your hive, at least 2 or 3, but I would suggest having 3 so you can stack it up really fast. But other than that, that is all the bees you're gonna need for this hive composition. Now let's actually get to other important things. So first off, milestones. So we're gonna talk about milestones. So first off, of course, have these 3 like as high as possible, these main 3. And then we're gonna go down to the bottom here, and we're gonna go to banana. Where's banana? So you're gonna try and get as high of a milestone as possible on banana, because this yellow pollen here is gonna be really good for you, and especially yellow flower as well, because you're going to get that yellow pollen instant conversion, which you're really gonna need. I'm telling you, you need this. If this is the most important milestone you need for a yellow hive. And the other one that is kind of like, it's not that needed, but it's still good to have, is sunflower. But yeah, it just depends on your preference. And for every single hive color, you should have your pine tree milestone as high up as possible, because the instant conversion. So yeah. But other than that, other milestones are not really needed. You could work on your pear milestone and your dandelion milestone, but these are optional and depends if you really need them. If you really think you need them, then really grind these 2 out, but they're not that needed. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the items you're going to need for a boost if you're trying to like focus on boosts. So, oh, and also one thing, is you should also, like, after you glorify your party B and solar B, you should focus on your delta Bs. So first off, you need at least 15 to 20 per converts, but you need 15 to 20 per converts to actually like function in a boost, I would say. It can be lower, it can be higher, I don't really know, but my base ground would be that. It depends a lot on how you play as well. You might need more, you might need less, but the base ground is that 15 to 20 per converts per boost. So that would equate to around 300 to 400 tickets, which is a lot. But if you can like get that much, then it's really good for you. But if you can't afford porta converts, then I would suggest going to porta pouches. But even if you can afford porta converts, I would still suggest having one porta pouch, because then you can convert at your hive, and then you can get that honey hive buff applied onto like the honey that you get from converting, which you usually get from Brown Bear Summer Blessing for the summer events. But if you can't afford porta converts, then I would suggest getting porta pouches, which is a little bit cheaper. So yeah, I would suggest getting those. So this type of composition as well runs 30 bees, and the more bees you have as well, which is good. So after this, if you get more than 30 bees, I would suggest adding like one delta and then one Venus slash scared, and then keep on that trend, because you need bombs as much as possible, because bombs are going to be your primary pollen collection. Of course, you'll have gold sprinklers, but I don't think gold sprinklers are that needed for yellow hives because of solar bee, but maybe we'll get to that now. The main field you want to be boosting in as a yellow hive is of course the yellow flower field. There's no other field for you to be boosting in. You always got to be boosting in the yellow flower field. So when you go in the field, the first thing, there's two phases to your boost. There's the Actually, this phase goes in and off, but the first phase is the pre-delta passive phase. So this phase is basically like you're getting your buffs, your fireworks, your hit meteors, your ideas. You're getting all those buffs before your delta B passives activate. But when your delta B passives activate, you gotta focus a lot on your solar B, because you will need to stay below the sun, and especially if your solar B is glorified, you will need to be collecting near holy flowers. So when you go in the field, blah blah blah, your delta B passives are going to be running, and you have to pay attention to these. And while this is happening, you of course need to be stacking your buffs, every single buff, like your idea, hit meteor, especially hit meteor because your critical value, and stuff like that. And make sure when you're also boosting to not collect the upgraded yellow bomb from Solar V. Do not collect it, otherwise you will lose your pollen bomb prowess. So don't do that. That's why I would also suggest not running fellow bees, because you're gonna lose your pollen bomb prowess easier. But as you can see, when the solar V sun rises, you can see the holy flowers appear on the field. So you want to be collecting near these, because you'll be collecting more yellow pollen and instant conversion as well. So also one thing to know as well, you might panic because you're not collecting as much pollen as I'm doing right now, but that is because I don't have that much of a bomb prowess at the moment. I'm failing to stack it, but you need to focus on stacking this as much as possible, because it will literally, all your pollen will come from this. Basically, all your pollen will come from this. But once your Delta Beast passives activate, then you'll go to the next phase. So this next phase, you primarily want to focus on staying under your sun or your tactical flight from your drone bees. So the primary situation is for your drone bees tactical flight to also be under your sun, but that's pretty rare to happen. But if that does happen, then you're in luck. If they're not, if they don't overlap, then you should focus on staying under your sun, and then when the sun disappears, go to your tactical flight. But other than that, there's not much to boost. Once you fill up, you use your portal converts, and if you're low on portal converts, then I suggest having your repair station unlocked, so you can actually repair your portal converts and use more for your boost. So you basically mid boost, you're gonna go to the repair station and repair your portal converts. And if you don't have your portal converts, then you're gonna go ahead and use your portal pouch, and you're gonna go in Like you're gonna keep farming, and then you're just gonna go to hive. And so I suggest having a hive level of like at least 8 or higher. So, and also focus on upgrading your party, solar bee, and bomb bees. So I would suggest do bomb bees first, party bee, solar, and then deltas. That's what I would suggest doing, and then every single other bee, with then phonic bee, bee shifter, and then yeah, every single other bee. If you really think, like, if you have a lot of drone bees, which might be rare, but you might have a lot of drone bees. But if you have a lot of drone bees, I would suggest like leveling them up so their gather amount can go higher and higher, and you can collect more from their passive. And also, I'd suggest having the times 2 convert speed ticket and the times 2 bee gather pollen, but they're not really needed, but they're of course good. So the cosmetics, let's actually talk about cosmetics now. We forgot about those. But the cosmetics you should try and get is, of course, if you have bunny ears, then equip it primarily, I'd say, on your bee shifter, because bee shifter doesn't have any other important ability other than the bee shift. So I'd suggest putting it there. But if your bunny ears has a conversion amount ability, then put it on your delta bee, any delta bee. If you have a cosmetic that gives conversion amount, always put it on your delta bee. But if you don't, then put it on other bees that you think might benefit from it. For example, if they have the egg, then I would suggest 100% to put it on your solar bee. Put it on your solar bee. Do not put it on any other bee. Put it on your solar bee. Have the umbrella, for example, then you could just put it on one of your bomb bees because of that ability pollen, which is just OP as hell. So I would just put it on one of your bomb bees. And the cosmetics I wouldn't really care about is the traffic cone and the wizard hat, but they can be good if you get a good traffic cone because the ability pollen, of course. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have the crown, which only Dennis has right now, Dennis has 3 crowns. You can trade them for it, but these are mad expensive. So if you're looking to get one of these, I would suggest having a lot of cosmetics on hand so you can trade it for one of these. But if you have this cosmetic, I would just put it on like a Bombi if it has high ability pollen. If it doesn't and it has high conversion, put it on your Delta B. You see where I'm going with this. Gamer headset, it's just good to have a lot of these because the ability pollen and the move speed are actually one of the primary points of this cosmetic. I would just put it on your bomb or Delta B, of course. And the fedora, it's just good, you know. It's basically the same thing as every other cosmetic. If it's high ability, then put it on a bomb. If it's low ability and high conversion, put it on a delta. But also, one thing to note is if your delta isn't glorified, then you do not need to put your cosmetic on delta. Only put your cosmetic that has high conversion on a delta that is glorified, because otherwise it'll just be useless, and you could be putting it on your bomb. I also suggest before you even switch the hive color, do not minimum gear you should have is the world gear. If you do not have the world gear, do not even bother switching hive colors. You'll just suffer. So yeah, the summer blessings that I would prioritize for Yellow Hive would probably brown bear. First of all, is the first one priority. And I would do black bear and scientist bear because they give pretty good buffs. The other ones not really that needed, but you can get them if you want to. Especially stylish bear because he gives a capacity buff for his, if I'm not mistaken. So he's just good in general. So I would also get him as well. Yeah, that's basically it for this hive composition video. So if you liked it, then give it a thumbs up or whatever. And see ya.